Hey, it's Jana from The Last Stitch. A while back I asked for your questions regarding how to make your own activewear, and I got loads of questions on my various social media, and today I will do my best to answer those questions. But because I got quite a few questions, I will divide this Q&A session into two parts, and so this is part one. And before we get started, if you want to see more videos from me and haven't done already, just please hit subscribe and also check out my blog, thelaststitch.com, where I have done tons and tons of blog posts regarding how to make your own activewear. But now let's talk about how to sew your own activewear. How to avoid itchy, scratchy seams when you're making your own activewear. Now, there are several ways to avoid this problem. If you have a serger, I highly recommend, if you haven't already, that you switch to woolly nylon in the lower looper. And woolly nylon is a soft, fluffy thread that is much more gentle towards the skin compared to regular serger thread. So I highly recommend that you check that out. I use it for most of my activewear and also for some top stitching because it covers the seams very well. So woolly nylon, first step if you have a serger. Another option is to create a full flatlock seam, and one way to do that is after you sew the seams together, you fold the seams in one direction, flip it over, and then you top stitch the seam using a decorative stretch stitch on your regular sewing machine, like I've done on this crotch gusset. And another option is, if you have a cover stitch machine, you can actually mimic the look of the industrial flatlock seam, and you do that by top stitching using preferably if you have a 3-needle cover stitch, and using the reverse side to cover it up, like I've done on these leggings with mesh inserts. And if you use woolly nylon in the lower looper, you will get an even more similar look to the industrial leggings. And that's another option. If you have a cover stitch machine, I would highly recommend you to try this out. And if you only have a regular sewing machine, then I recommend that you check out Sewholic's tutorial on how to create a full flatlock seam just using the regular sewing machine. And I have linked to this particular blog post in the comment section, so check that out. Also, on the sergers, you have usually two options for actual flatlock seams. One is the 2-threaded and one is the 3-threaded. Neither of these will mimic the look of the flatlock seam on industrial machines because it's a different type of machines. The 2-threaded flatlock, I would say, is not durable enough to use for activewear, but the 3-threaded version is the good contender if you can succeed finding the proper settings, and you would have to experiment quite a bit in order to get the flat look to lie really, really flat. And I have in fact done a tutorial on this particular subject on my blog, thelaststitch.com, where I go through all the steps that I did on how to perfect the 3-threaded flatlock seam on your serger. Again, link in the comment section. That was a couple of ideas on how to avoid itchy seams on your leggings. As a bonus tip, if you're really, really sensitive, you can also do this. You can sew the seams on the reverse side so that the seams will actually lie on the outside of your garments, and then you stitch it flat using one of the methods that I described here. That won't create quite as pretty seams, but at least if you have a cover stitch or a good decorated seam that really covers the fabric, I think you can achieve a pretty good result, and that will be absolutely itch-free. How can I make a leggings pattern fit? Well, there are several different ways to approach this. As with everything else, you will have to try and see what works for your particular body type. But I will give you some tips to make sure that the leggings fit better than it would without those alterations. First up, if you have a pair of store-bought leggings that fits well, I highly recommend that you use them as a guide for your alterations. And there are a couple of points to consider when you're checking this. First up is crotch length. This is really important, especially to avoid that the back rides down when you're bending over and stuff like that. So check that the crotch length is long enough to make sure that they won't ride down. Secondly, there are a couple of areas where the fit can be an issue, and usually it's around the ankles, the lower parts of the legs. I highly recommend that you check the width of the pattern there and make sure that it corresponds well to your favorite store-bought pair of leggings, or if you don't have any of these, check against your measures and make sure that they fit snugly. Another point that you should check is the knee area. Again, there is quite common that you have a bit of a baggy issue around the knee area because it's not tight enough. So I highly recommend that you again check the pattern versus your measurements around the knees. And also I recommend that the leggings pattern that you pick has a curved waistband and that is quite wide. And again, check out towards your favorite leggings to see if you prefer a wider waistband or a narrow. Again, and also where you want the waistband to hit. So you might have to lengthen the crotch both in the back and the front, or perhaps lower it a bit in the front and raise it a bit in the back. So all these alterations are key points, I think, in order to achieve nice looking leggings on your store-bought patterns. What natural fabrics do you recommend for activewear? Well, this is a bit tricky because, as you already know, natural fabrics, they tend not to transport moisture as well as the wicking functional synthetic fabrics do. So that's why I personally prefer fabrics like cotton, rayon, bamboo and stuff like that for sports like yoga and Pilates where you don't really sweat a lot. So that is perhaps the first consideration here. Secondly, if you do want to go the natural fabric route, I do have one recommendation, and that is to look for a modal fabric that has the brand name Lyocell or Tencel. It's an environmentally friendly produced pulp fabric, so it's actually better produced than most rayon and bamboo fabrics. Plus it's very durable. I'm actually wearing this yoga top that I'm wearing on me right now is made of this Tencel fabric. It transports moisture, I would say, better at least than rayon and bamboo, and I think it's very nice towards the body. It doesn't peel and stuff like that, but some of these natural fabrics have some issue as well. So if you find Lyocell, Tencel, I highly recommend that you check that out. And especially if you're exercising in climates in the northern hemisphere, I also recommend that you check out wool as an option. There are wonderfully soft merino thin wool, and wool has the properties that is similar to the synthetic exercise fabric, as it does transport moisture away from the body to a certain point, as we all know, because once wool gets wet, it gets really wet. But I think there has been some sort of progress in that area too, so I know that a lot of companies today that sell wool underwear, they claim at least that the wool is done in a way that transports moisture better than before. I have no idea if that is true. But if you want inspiration, I highly recommend that you check out the Norwegian sportswear company Kari Traa. She has fantastic wool wear that is modern, looks really cute, and she also mixes wool with the synthetic fabrics for areas where you transport a lot of moisture, like underneath the arms and in the backside of the knees and stuff like that. So if you want to see how to make modern, fashionable activewear in wool, I recommend the Kari Traa site. Again, links in the comment section. Also, because there's quite a bit of interest right now when it comes to sewing your own activewear, I figured why not collect all this knowledge into one place. So I just started a Facebook group called Sewing Activewear. If you search it, you'll find it. It's a closed group, so you need to apply. And what I figure with this group is that we can meet up, share our experience, patterns, where you find your fabrics, tips and tricks, tools, all that stuff in one place. Right now, it's crickets because, well, I just registered, so not much action going on right now, but together we can make this group happen. So I would love if you would join it. Just search for Sewing Activewear and let's get started on that one. So this Q&A, well, it just barely scratches the surface, but if you want to see more things about activewear, there are tons of resources out there. I will try to link some in the comment section, and also check out my blog, as I said, thelaststitch.com, where I have loads of tutorials regarding sewing activewear. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit subscribe. And this was part 1 of my Q&A section, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.